Ooh, I forgot. Let's make this look pretty. There we go.
Oh.
See, this is what happens. This is what happens when you leave me in charge. Hi, all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another Double Trouble review of AEW Rampage and AEW Collision, the only place where you can find a double feature of your weekend AEW programming. I am one of the hosts here, Mikey, also known as El Jefe, and joining me once again is the dynamic duo here at the Cleanup Crew and Collision Collective Double Trouble team. First and foremost, you can find him on, well, pretty much on the CMLL, and if we need a moderator for the pay-per-view reviews too. But El Buntador II is in the house, sporting some nice armor as we're about to go into battle here tonight.
Saludos programas. I don't know what you're talking about. This is what I always wear.
Snowy. All right. And of course, joining us once again, you know her, you love her. She is not afraid to give her opinions, which I love. But the one and only Alice is in the building, and we're going to fight tonight. I'm just kidding.
We might.
We might. This is going to be so much fun. I am super excited. But before we get into the craziness that was Rampage and Collision this weekend, a little bit of housekeeping really quickly. If you haven't already, you can find us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. We're pretty much everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We also have all the social media stored on Next Level. Shout out to the boys at Next Level for continuing to support us and also working with us because they are fantastic, connecting the wrestling universe in amazing ways. You can also find us here on Twitch and on YouTube. Hit the bell notification, hit the subscribe button, just leave comments because we want to have talks with you. We also have a Patreon. We have merch in the bio as well, so make sure you can go get all that fun stuff. We got t-shirts, sweaters, long sleeve. I know it's summer, but come on now. Fashion is pain. Like, there is no excuse. Be like, fashion is pain. But some more exciting news, too. It's about to get hectic in the next couple of weeks because we got loads of pay-per-views. So make sure you stay tuned to the social medias for those announcements.
Yep.
And, that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to waste any time because we have lots to get to. We are... Finally, we're at the end of the first week post Forbidden Door. We now have about a whole entire month and a half or so building to the Wembley show at All In. But more importantly, AEW is also trying to figure out what matches they're going to put on for Blood and Guts, which is in 2 weeks. Because Blood and Guts is happening in 2 weeks, and that's going to be nuts. But let's talk about it. So normally... Rampage and Collision are always an up and down show. Usually there's more good and bad, but we're going to be very divisive out the gate because 2 out of the 3 of us here believe that Rampage was and one of us believes it was kind of fun. I'm going to spoil it right now. I am the one that believes that Rampage was kind of fun this week. Though I will admit that not lots of stories got progressed except for maybe 1 or 2, but we'll talk about it as we get through that. But let's kick off Rampage this week because we had a tag team match. This saw the Kings of the Black Throne. I refuse to call them House of Black until we get Buddy Matthews back. But we have Kings of the Black Throne, which is Malachi Black and the hit dog Will Holler himself, Brody King, taking on Tony Nese and Mario Shivari, of the Premier Athletes with Smart Mark, Sterling at ringside with all of this. I'm not going to lie, you guys. For me personally, and this is where we might get into our first disagreement, I actually thought this was a better match than I thought it was going to be. On paper, I was like, okay, well, Kings of the Black Throne are definitely going to decimate the Premier Athletes. It was more back and forth than I thought it was going to be, and we got a little hardcore in there because that clipboard did not stand a chance. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was
clipboard shattered.
And it looked like Malachi was not too happy about it at the end of the match because he was yelling at the ref, like, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yes. Gesturing to all the plastic everywhere. Did you see that? It's everywhere.
I'm like, I want to know what that clipboard was made of to shatter in so many pieces like that.
Right. I don't think it was a regular, dare I say, like stunt or prop clipboard. I think it was just a real clipboard that they smashed over Malachi's head because he did also get a little bit of a
He
little
did get cut. Yeah.
it was either here or like here, but he did get cut. I agree in that this match was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't expect it to be as intriguing and engaging for me as it was. I'm not, the premier athletes. This is kind of going with the trope of the ROH talent getting brought up to get jobbed out on AEW programming. So for them to have put up the type of fight that they put up, I thought it was I thought it was very good. And you can ask Alice, I was taken aback in a good way because for a moment, Malachi Black, when he was waiting to get tagged in, he started hopping around and going like this to get the crowd like into the mat, into the match. And I was like, okay, Malachi, show a little gusto. I will say now that we are doing this Kings of the Black Throne thing, I am ecstatic to see Malachi Black not only wrestling but getting beat up, because there were some points in this match that he got beat up. I mean, hell, he had that damn clipboard bashed about his head, so yeah, that's that.
Now, Alice, all three of us collectively are big fans of House of Black and Kings of the
Yes.
Black Throne too.
Yes.
I personally find it interesting that they're slowly turning House of Black face, which is an interesting thing to do because they are so dark and spooky, but to turn the face is interesting. So, Alice, first question, how did you feel about the match itself? And what are your opinions and thoughts about slowly turning House of Black into faces?
Oh, those are good questions. So the match was okay. I'll give this one to you, Mikey. This one definitely was interesting. I did like the back and forth between them and the premier athletes, right? Yep. Yeah, I loved that they both kind of were pulling shenanigans. That I thought made it really interesting to me. And Yes, I love the House of Black. I love all of them, and I am so excited for Buddy Matthews to come back. But right now, I will take Malachi and Brody. They are a wonderful tag team. And yeah, they are kind of turning face, which I don't mind, because, like, it can be a little like, yeah, I think you can be spooky, but you can still be face. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they keep the spooky vibe. But I also am wondering if this is part of, like, maybe when Adam Copeland comes back, like, is he going to pull them back to the dark side? Is that why they're sort of turning face this now? Like, so, whatever the reason behind it, I think it's definitely making for interesting storytelling to see whatever will happen in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I thought this match was a lot better back and forth than I thought it was going to be, but I cannot say the same thing for what we got next, because this was a glorified squash match. This was Roderick Strong taking on local talent Ben Bishop. First and foremost, Ben Bishop, you are hella tall. That was wild to watch. I was just like, he has like 2 whole feet on Roddy. I was like, what is this?
I'm going to double check real quick, but I could have sworn that they said that he was a goalie for the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, that's crazy. If that's the truth, that's wild to me.
I'm gonna check it, but go ahead, Mikey.
So essentially, this was just a squash match to get Roderick Strong to pick up a win. But it was okay. So I don't know if it was just me that noticed this, but I felt the ending to this match was really weird because normally we know Roderick to either, knock people out with the knee strike. Obviously, that would be kind of a impossible task given how tall Ben Bishop was, or he would submit them. But no, he did neither one of those things. And he just like, I'm gonna pin you real quick. There, I win. I was like, what? That's it? That's all we get? I love Roddy. I really, really do. But I don't even know what we're doing anymore. But I mean, Alice, I'm gonna come to you first while fact checker El Butador looks this up. But what's going on with Roddy? Because this was a weird way to win this match.
It was a weird way to win the match. It was a weird match, period. I feel like they really did hit Big Trouble dirty. Like they really did him dirty. Like he had such a short match. Like I blinked and it was over. I'm like, what is happening? How did we get here? I felt like he didn't really even get to show off any of his real talent. Like that was really frustrating, I think, too. And then the thing that annoyed me about this match in particular is they pulled the whole conglomeration out to sit at the announcer table to watch this. And then all they did was glare at each other and then it was over. What was the purpose of that? Why did we pull all 6 people out there that we know there's tension between just for them to look at each other like, and that was it? Like no words, no nothing. We're really just gonna, what was that? What was the point? I didn't get that at all.
I don't either, because I was like, oh, okay, maybe this will send something up for Collision. And then I was like, kinda?
Nope.
We'll get to that when we talk about Collision. But El Buntador, first and foremost, what say you on our fact checker with Ben Bishop?
So yeah, Ben Bishop was NHL goalie. He looks like the last team he was with was the Dallas Stars. And that was back in 2020. And then after that, cool. He he went down to the AHL and played with the Texas Stars for a little bit, and then that was it. At any rate, it was just a weird match. Even as far as squash matches goes, it was just so weird. I don't know if this was like Ben Bishop's like official first time in the ring. I don't know.
It was his debut. It said so on the bottom.
No, I know, but like I mean, like if he's been with like an independent wrestling promotion and now, or like if he literally like got done with his wrestling classes and rolled into this match with Roddy Strong. It was just odd. And then it felt very wasteful to have the conglomeration out there and they just have this like 2-second standoff before they cut to commercial. So
yeah, that was really, really weird. So I mean, El Butador, you said it best. We go to commercial. When we come back, we do get this amazing Deonna Purrazzo segment with the lit candelabra and the wine and everything. I'm like, I've been saying this for the longest time, even when she was in TNA. I love Deonna, but she works so much better as a heel than a face. And so now we're going into the virtuosa heel character that Deonna had over in TNA, just now with a bigger budget. I really dug this. She's going to decimate and form the AEW women's division to her liking. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of not mad at that. I was like, let Deonna just run through the roster and just like, let's shake some things up, because Lord knows that backstage doesn't know what to do with them. Anyways, I didn't say that out loud, but I really dug this promo, but that's because I'm biased. I'm a big Deonna fan. I've always been a big Deonna fan, even since her days in TNA. So Alice, how did you feel about Deonna's quick little promo?
I want to like her so bad, and I just do not. I do not like it. I thought it was very artsy. I liked the way she was going. I just cannot, for whatever reason, take her seriously. So, you know, I'm glad that this is like, I like the heel approach. You know, I like the way that she's talking about things. I'm not behind it with her yet. So maybe I need to see her in the ring more often. But it's not doing it for me right now.
I mean, that's a very fair assumption too. And again, AEW really hasn't had a good job of showcasing what she could do, because when she debuted and when she got signed, she was immediately thrown into a storyline with Tony and was facing her for the title at Revolution. And then post Revolution, she had a couple matches here and there. And then it's only been recently that she had this feud with Thunder going into everything, which now is continuing. I hope that AEW will utilize her more, as well as our homegirl Thunder too, because now it seems now we're getting somewhere, because I thought, once again, another woman's story got dropped out of nowhere. But, you know, El Buntador, same question to you. The very artsy villainess promo from Deonna Purrazzo. What'd you think?
As far as promos go, I thought it was a great promo. You know, it was concise. She said what she was going to do. My only hope is that whoever is in charge in AEW lets her do what she says that she's going to do, because so often we see people that come into AEW to come into any wrestling promotion, and they say, "Oh, I'm going to decimate," and then they don't. So please, you know, if you're going to give Deonna these teeth, give her the wins to back it up as well. So
agreed. And when we get to Collision, we'll talk about that, because it seems that we're building to something, but we'll wait till we get there. All right, so I'm going to catch some heat for saying this, because then we have our high-flying, you know, fatal four-way just cuz match, and this had Rey Fenix, Commander, Angelico, and our homeboy AR Fox. Shout out to the homie AR Fox. We love him here at BC WrestlePod. Thank you for letting us interview you, especially when you didn't have to, given the whole situation that was going on behind the scenes. It was kind of nuts that day. Yeah. But I really liked this match. This was fun. But my biggest problem is that it was not for like a number one contendership. This was not for like a future shot at some title. It was just a match to have a match. And sometimes we need that. The problem is we got a similar version of this match last week on Rampage too. I was just like, I love our high flyer luchadors. I love AR Fox. Angelico is fun. You know, shout out to the ROH boys down there. But we saw this match last week, and I can't believe I'm saying this. We got to put some stakes in these big, like, multi-man matches, because you're going to run into the problem where people are like, okay, this is going to be another match, and then eventually you're going to get tired of watching all the flippy dippies if there's no stakes. That's me personally. I want to see flippy dippy action, but I want to see some stakes involved in it too. Especially because now it seems that Rampage is giving us one of these types of matches every single week. And I'm not going to complain about it right now, but if we keep getting these types of matches, I'm going to like get bored, because it loses its shine after a while. I like this match. It's just we're starting to run into the problem where you're giving me these matches too much on Rampage and not spreading them out like you're supposed to. But let's see what my other co-hosts have to say. El Buntador, I'm going to come to you first as our resident Lucha Libre aficionado, and also loves the flippy dippy action like myself. How did you feel about this match? And do you think AEW is overplaying their hand when it comes to giving us these types of matches pretty much at least once a week now?
So from watching so much CMLL, you do see this a bit in CMLL as well, where it seems like not the same match over and over again, but like the same players in matches over and over again. To which, and it's really, it's just a match to have a match, and I don't mind it, and I don't mind it here. There is going to be a caveat, and that caveat is going to come in Collision, and I will point that out when it comes up. But yeah, I didn't mind this at all. Number one, shout out to AR Fox. Great to have you, to see you. This is the third or fourth week, I believe, that we have AR Fox on our screen. So shout out to AR Fox there. But these guys are artists. Ray Phoenix, Commander and Angelico and AR Fox, they are artists when it comes to the high flyingness. So it was engaging enough, and I felt that it didn't get stretched out long, that it was what we needed for Rampage in that spot. So if nothing, if you don't have any match to forward any storyline, then this is good. I'm happy with it.
Okay. Alice, same question to you. How did you feel about this match in the middle of the card? And do you think AEW is putting these types of matches too often in their cards?
So I thought this match was okay. I think the reason I started to get sort of disenchanted with Rampage at this point, because I'm like, none of these matches have had any stakes. None of these matches have made any sense. I don't know what's going on. Nothing is pushing any story forward. And it's okay to have a match just to have a match. But when you have all of these matches just to have matches in a row, I'm getting annoyed. I don't understand why we did it this way. I like high flyers. They're lots of fun. I love watching them do these gravity defying feats of strength and agility. Really cool to watch. And if you're going to do these, I agree with you, Mikey, put some stakes in there. Come up with a belt or have some contention between these two, or, make it a thing. Don't just throw it in there just because. And if you are So
right. I'm hoping that AEW will, if we're going to get these types of matches, I would be okay if they spread them out every other week. So it's not back to back. But we shall see what happens with all of that. All right, let's quickly go over this. So backstage, we have the learning tree.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm not even going to ask for thoughts and opinions, because I'm just going to recap and we're moving on, because I'm not giving Chris Jericho the time of day. But basically, Chris Jericho cuts his promo and recaps the last couple weeks of events where Shibata, Joe, and Hook are been taken out of action. And, this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite, we're going to have another in-ring segment of TV time, which I'm like, no, what are we doing? I'm mad that Chris Jericho has been allowed to take out Shibata, Hook, and Joe in separate occasions, leading to the post-Forbidden Door loss, and I'm kind of mad about that.
Stop giving him TV time.
I know. And it makes me mad that people like this gimmick. I don't like this
gimmick. I don't like
it.
I don't like it. It's stupid. Stop it.
Every week I'm just watching Bounty Hunter Brian Keith just lose a little bit of piece of himself every single week.
Every week.
But this upcoming week on Dynamite 250, we are going to get to TV time in some capacity. Please let it be less than 7 minutes. I don't want the last time where it's been 10, 15 minutes. Please don't do that. So we're going to move on. We go into the match that, I'm going to be honest, probably propelled the only storyline. This was the only match that propelled the storyline this evening, because we had Thunder Rosa taking on, debuting in Collision and making her 2024 debut too, which is kind of crazy to think about. On Collision, Rachel Ellering from ROH. I was just
on Rampage.
Yeah.
On Rampage.
Yeah. On Rampage, sorry.
Rampage. Yeah.
On making her Rampage debut. Honestly, just throw Rachel everywhere, because she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's good. She's so good.
So Thunder versus Rachel Ellering. This was a 8-minute match. So my biggest critique is give your women more time. But honestly, this was a lot more snugger than I thought it was going to be. But then again, I'm looking at who is fighting with each other. We know Thunder tends to wrestle more like snug, depending on her opponent. And come on now, we know Rachel can toss girls left and right, but it also helps that her father has been in the business long enough. So I was just like, gotta love the Ellerings. I thought this match was really great. It was fun. Thunder Rosa picks up the victory here. And before we talk about what happens afterwards, Alice, this was the only match that propelled the storyline when we combined the match and what happened afterwards. So what did you think of Thunder versus Rachel? And, are we starting to see a turnaround with women's storylines in AEW? Spoiler alert, the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, jury's still out on that one. But I did really enjoy this match. I do agree. I wish it were a little longer because I was really enjoying the show that they were both giving us. And I was so happy. I think this might be the match of the night for me, partially because of what happened after too. It was an enjoyable match. I really liked them. I thought they were a good pairing. But yeah, like I said, I wish it were longer. But I was very happy with this.
All right, El Buntador, same question.
Yeah, same feelings. I wish it was a little bit longer. Rachel Ellering, I love watching her work. I love watching Thunder Rosa work. They work really well together. More time would have been great, especially given with what happened at the end. That's it.
So what happens at the end is as Thunder and Rachel are celebrating because they're both faces and they respect each other, Deonna comes out and lays both of them out. First by punching Thunder in the face multiple times, just like going with her. And then Rachel's like, bro, what the heck? And then, Deonna turns her attention to Rachel and beats both of them to the floor, which leads into what we'll talk about when we get to Collision. But I was just like, oh my gosh, see what happens when you allow a storyline to actually progress on Rampage.
Right?
It's not that hard, AEW. It's okay to have fun matches, but give us like 1 or 2 matches that propel storylines.
Well, and this is the odd thing. It's not like Rampage has not been propelling storylines. They've had Rampage storylines the past few months. So why all of a sudden the complete stop?
I don't know if it's a taping schedule. I don't know what's going on, but everybody needs to get it together and backstage in AEW because y'all need to get more organized because you're going to start losing wrestlers, and not to bring up other people, but that's why Ethan Page is no longer there. I'm just putting it out there. But we get into our main event of Rampage, which I had lots of questions because I was like,
yes,
I had so many questions. I have so many questions, especially because when I saw the Rampage card and then I saw the Collision card, I was like, but why?
Questions.
So the match that we're referring to is a trios match. This was Top Flight and Action Andretti taking on Shane Taylor Promotions, which is Tyga Style, Lee Moriarty, Anthony Ogogo, and of course the big man himself, Shane Taylor. So I'm going to be honest, between the 2 iterations that we got back to back on Rampage and Collision, I kind of like this match a little bit more than I did its Collision counterpart. But I still have so many questions. So spoiler alert, Shane Taylor Promotions wins. I was like, okay, that actually kind of feels right. You want to make sure that Shane Taylor Promotions is getting a big, push because they're one of the few heel factions that you have right now. But it also helps Lee continue to win, especially since it looks like he'll be fighting Wheeler Yuta for the Pure Championship in ROH, since he actually made it through the Proving Ground match, which was crazy last week. But I have questions because, fast forwarding to what we get in Collision, we get an iteration of this, but in tag team formation. I don't understand why you had these 2 matches back to back. Like, was nobody else available? Like, what happened?
And this was the caveat that I was talking about. If you're going to give us same players in different matches, you got to spread it out, because that's the one thing that CMLL does. If they have the same players in different matches. They don't do it night. Well, they won't do it on the internet and then on Saturday as well. You know, they'll do it Friday and then on Tuesday, or Saturday and then on the following Friday. So yeah, why we had back to back, I don't know. You know, maybe I don't know. I don't know. The Rampage iteration of this match was in ring. It was good. You know, I thought that the beef is now squashed with Shane Taylor Productions winning, because that was the whole thing. That was the whole lead up that we had, where
I know
that this match was going to be the match to like end the feud. So then when
spoiler alert,
yeah,
it seems that we're in the forever cycle now. I'm like,
right. So I don't know, but in ring wise, it was good. You know, it was nice. It was nice seeing Tiger Style not eating a pin. Fish and Chips did his thing, whatever. And I always enjoy Shane Taylor just because I like that the characterization that he has. And Top Flight's always entertaining. Action Andretti's always entertaining. You know, kind of bummed that Action Andretti he tapped out, right?
yeah, he got tapped out.
He tapped out. Yeah. So, you know, kind of bummed that he tapped out, but it is what it is.
It is what it is for sure. Alice, the same thoughts. Like, we got this version, and then we had the Wish.com version on Collision. like what is happening right now?
I really don't know what's happening, and I wish I could say I understood. I feel like this has been hashed and rehashed and rehashed. I don't understand why are we still fighting? The motive for this clash is not strong enough. I don't get it. It feels like they're like, yeah, well, we did the thing. We're just gonna do it again. I'm like, okay, and again, pick something else. You know, maybe like have something happen in ring. Like, I created this whole story before the Collision version of this match and was like, maybe they're gonna do this, so then this will plant seeds for something else, and then like, no, it's just the same. Okay. So I didn't feel like this was a strong main event for me.
Yeah, so I mean, that brings us to the end of Rampage, but we are not quite done yet, because now we're going to move on over to AEW Collision. Da-da-da-da. Now we have a whole new overlay. Yes, I'm fancy like that. So now we are in Collision Land, where we're going to talk about everything that went down less than an hour ago.
Yep.
This is still fresh in our minds, which is going to be interesting. So we are in Calgary still for Collision.
For Collision.
Collision and Rampage are starting to blend together. It's not a good sign, you guys. But Collision is in Calgary this week, and we open up with one of my personal favorite peoples, Konosuke Takeshita, taking on Calgary's very own, the nephew of the original Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington.
Yep.
I was like, this is not the first time that we've seen Tommy on AEW television. Last time, which I believe was in March when they were in Canada, we had Dax go up against Tommy, which was a phenomenal match. And this match was no exception. This was actually a pretty good match. And this went long. This went through a commercial break, 2 picture-in-pictures. It was like a 20-minute match. I was like, and you guys, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I kind of like Don Callis on commentary. Like,
yeah,
even though he's healing it up, he's actually paying attention to the match and giving insight. Yep. And like his back and forth with Nigel, like in terms of the terminology, I was like, yo, can we keep Don on, Collision commentary? Because I was just like, if Ian's not going to be there, like have Don substitute for Ian once in a while. Like,
you have to have somebody keeping them on track. Really.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely showed, because we'll talk about it when we get to Sky's match, because I'm like, Nigel McGuinness, stop being a perv. Like, what is happening with Nigel right now? I don't know what's going on. I was like, sir, you can't say these off the cuff, comments. It's getting weird. You're like that one uncle who should not be invited to the cookout anymore. Like, it's getting weird. But okay, let's talk about this match, because this went long. And I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed this. In my mind, I was like, AEW should sign Tommy. And then I thought about it. I was like, well, no, never mind. I take that back, because their roster's already stacked and their roster is bloated. Don't be adding no more people. Though they didn't listen, because we'll talk about our mysterious luchador vignette later in the show.
Yep.
But El Buntador, this was like a 20-minute match. This was very hard-hitting Japanese style versus hard-hitting Canadian style. So how did you feel about this melting pot of a match?
I really enjoyed it. I was thoroughly impressed. I was impressed last time when I saw Tommy Billington versus Dax, right? It was Dax.
Yep.
Yep.
The AEW Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. Who can twerk like no other.
I did not think that was on my bingo card when I opened my Instagram the other day.
Yep. Find that on your 2024 bingo card.
No, right? But Dax, you can kind of get it, bro.
Yeah. So Tommy Billington was really impressive in that match. What impressed me with this match is that in the match against Dax, he was more technical, but Tommy Billington's strength, the way that he picked up and slammed Takeshita, I was really impressed with that, especially because of the height difference. I will say that one tombstone that Tommy Billington gave to Takeshita, I got a little nervous.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, I got a little nervous just because that size difference, I think, worked against it in that spot. But other than that, it was a great match. I'm always impressed by Takeshita. So this was a good match. Dare I say, of any of the Collision matches, if you want to go back and watch a match, watch this match.
Oh yeah, I honestly think I would be like, if you're gonna watch anything from Collision, watch this match, because this was a strong opening match for sure. Alice, the same question. So Takeshita versus the hometown hero boy of Tommy Billington. How did we feel about the match?
I liked this match. I thought it was a strong opener. I really did. I like Takeshita a lot. I really he's such a powerhouse. And he's so good. I'll just stop that there. So this was really exciting. My favorite part is when they were switching control of a move. It almost looked like they were doing cartwheels. That was really cool to see. Both of them are on equal ground. Really, it was really fun to watch that. So Takeshita did end up with the win. And then are we talking about what happened after too?
Yeah, let's just talk about what happened afterwards, because Takeshita does end up winning this match. Don Callis goes to the ring. He talks about, the history that he has with the original Dynamite Kid and starts showing pictures. I was like, Don Callis, where are you getting these photos from? I was like, did you go to his mom? What happened? But yeah. Don Callis and the original Dynamite Kid do have a connection, and he would love nothing more than to have Tommy be a part of the Don Callis family. He asks, if Tommy will join him. Tommy, rightfully so, says that Don Callis can kiss his ass, which is literally what he says. Okay, this part was weird, because as soon as he said that, Takeshita went back to face mode for 30 seconds, because he was telling Don, the camera got him. He's like, look, Don, we can't be fighting, we can't be doing this. And then as soon as Don punched him, Takeshita's like, oh, I guess we're doing this, and then went back into heel mode, which then prompted Kyle Fletcher, the proto star. Also, camera caught him being a goofball, sticking his tongue out and looking breaking the fourth wall, looking at the camera as he was running down. He's so unserious. I love Kyle Fletcher so much, which then prompts, the Don Callis family to beat down Tommy. And then I was surprised because I didn't think Dax was cleared quite yet. So he must have healed really fast. FTR makes their comeback and they come out for the save.
Yeah.
FTR, Burt Reynolds, and FTR no longer aggravated a gun charge. Like, come down to the ring because Cash and Dax come out for the save. I was like, well, apparently Dax is cleared now. So, all right, I'm here for FTR coming back because, like, FTR against the Elite is eventually where we're going to, and I'm kind of here for it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But it's FTR might be fighting with the Don Callis family for a little bit, which I'm not mad at.
Yep.
I'm
it would
excited
be,
for that.
I feel that'd be a good match in Blood and Guts, the Don Callis family versus or the new look Don Callis family versus FTR and Dynamite Kid. Blood and Guts. That'd be fun. 2 weeks away.
The question is, Blood and Guts is taking place in the States, so I wonder if they can get Tommy, if Tommy has a passport to come over. I would love to see that.
That's a good question.
I would love to see that. But this was a fantastic match. We're setting up Don Callis versus a return to FTR, which I love. Glad to see that Dax has recovered a lot quicker than I thought he was going to, and what he told us he was going to. Stem cells do wonders, kids. Okay. So we get a recap package of what happened with the Owen Hart Women's, Foundation finals for the women, in which Chris and Stokely cost Willow the win, which allowed Mariah to win. And then we got to see a replay of the beatdown, the best heel turn of 2024 so far.
Yes.
And I was just, and then AEW on social media posts like new pictures of like their roster. And then they took a picture with Mariah winning the cup with the blood still all over her face and the belt and the cup. I'm so excited for this Mariah May heel turn. Storytelling. This is the best women's story. This is the best story of 2024 so far. I will even go to say as that. I love this. Which then leads us, okay, I was like, okay, we started off with a great match. I love Mariah May's heel turn. Show me more of that. It's fantastic. And then I was mad by the end of this segment and this match because we get a trios match. This is the Bang Bang Gang. So the Guns and Juice, our Honeycomb Monster, Juice Robinson, Guns Up, taking on the local talent of, and I made sure to write all of this down, Michael Allen, Richard Clark, Sean Moore, and returning to, our AEW television screen, London Lightning. I don't know why ROH hasn't signed that man, but that's besides the point. This match is what I would like to refer to as a squash match. So this did not go more than 6-7 minutes. I might be the only person that likes this, but the Guns, I love seeing them have fun. And I feel that a lot of wrestlers take themselves too seriously. Granted, the Bang Bang Gang aren't a serious bunch. They are comedic heels for all intents and purposes. But that drop kick, what was it, from Austin? Was it Austin? But that drop kick was amazing. And of course, Juice Robinson being Juice Robinson is always fantastic.
Yep.
But, they won. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to ask how the match was because that's not the real reason we need to talk about. Because it is everything that happened that made me, I was seething. I almost threw things at my TV. I was like, question marks. I was like that one meme where the guy's just like, what? Because we have HR Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, come on out and talk about, recapping that Christian attacked Jay White last week. And so Jay White is hurt. I couldn't find anything officially, so this is a work, I'm assuming. But because AEW does not want to enact the free bird rule, don't give me that excuse, HR Christopher Daniels. But because they're not going to enact the free bird rule and allow Juice to defend the titles with the Guns, the Bang Bang Gang are being stripped of these trios championships. I literally yelled at my screen. I was like, why? I was like, what in what world does that make sense? But then it gets worse because the patriarchy gets their happy candy butts down to the ring. Christian cuts a promo, demands that the patriarchy gets those trios championships. And then I was like, okay, well, Bang Bang Gang can't get them. So, okay, when Buddy Matthews comes back, I'm thinking patriarchy versus House of Black because House of Black is still the number one contenders. They won that match to do so. And of course, Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley went to go get married, so that kind of put a pause on that. But with Rhea returning on Raw this past week, Buddy is sure to be coming back in some capacity soon. So I'm like, okay, Patriarchy versus House of Black. Let's make it happen. Then Christopher Daniels made me even more upset because it says, however, he says, no, we're not giving the Patriarchy the Trios Championships, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a match. Okay, cool. Patriarchy versus House of Black, right? We're going to have a match at a later date. Cool. Patriarchy, House of Black. We're going to have a match at a later date for these titles with the Patriarchy. Okay. And the Bang Bang Gang. And I was like, what? What? In what world do you strip the champions of their titles and then you're going to have them fight for said titles when you just stripped your champions of we're farther enough this made no fucking sense. I was like, this was piss poor booking. Alice, I'm going to come to you first. Why?
So I interpreted what he was saying a little bit differently than you did. So I was thinking at the end that Chris Daniels was like, okay, I won't strip you of it, but you have to fight for it. Like whoever wins at the end of that match is going to be the trios because Jay White's not there. He's the one who won the trio, presumably. So they've got to fight for it to see who gets it. But yeah, I was really hoping for the House of Black with Buddy returning. I'm like, they're pushing it off so that Buddy can come back and they could get their titles back. Like that's what ultimately I want. So I'm really maybe they'll fight and then the Patriarchy will get it and then House of Black can come in and sweep. I hope. But yeah, this does feel a little odd. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Buddy returning hopefully soon.
El Puntador, the same question. What?
I dug it. I thought that this was the type of chaos that they needed. I see no issues with this. What happened with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and having when he got hurt, okay, fine. If we're gonna play up the Jay White being hurt angle, so that's why they can't have Juice Robinson step in. Okay, fine. I didn't find an issue with this. I would have found an issue if they would have given it straight to the Patriarchy, which they didn't. I enjoy the fact that the Patriarchy, where the Bang Bang Gang was like, we're going to have a match tonight. And the Patriarchy was just like, or Christian Cage, I should say, was just like, what was it? Not Ottawa, but,
Calgary.
Calgary doesn't deserve a title match.
He's so good on mic.
Yeah,
he's so good on mic.
Probably the best mic worker right now in 2024.
I hate every time he picks up that mic. I hate him a little more, which is amazing.
Right. And I feel that this is. Yes, that the House of Black is going to come in. They're going to come in the way they want to come in. There's going to be, some media scrum or like some in-ring thing with the Bang Bang Gang and the Patriarchy. Lights are going to go off. They're going to come back up, and there's going to be the House of Black.
Buddy Matthews.
Right. And then this is going to turn into a three-way for the trio, the Unified Trios title.
Honestly, I would love if we got a triple threat and then House of Black can win. Like, honestly, right? Patriarchy and House of Black versus Patriarchy is a feud I kind of want to see. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes,
especially a face House of Black. They pull Luchasaurus to the dark side or the good side, I should say.
Oh,
yes.
Right, that'd be cool.
I would love that.
Please do the right thing, AEW. Please do. So after all this went down, we get a quick, basically we get the same thing from Jack Perry. He's going to be giving people chances and he's going to be destroying them. I was like, sir, we got the same promo 2 weeks ago.
Right. And I will say just really quick, had they played that promo package prior to his match last week, then I would have been more vested into that match last week, because then I would have had
absolutely,
a frame of reference. That's all they needed. That's all. They didn't need a big long thing, just like that 5-minute package, so I can see that that what's his face was in a faction with Jack Perry and Luchasaurus, so I know that there's history there, instead of some random 16-year-old looking dude walking out to face off against Jack Perry. Like last week, I honestly thought that a fan had gotten onto the ramp, and I was like, "What the hell is going on right now?" So, and that's it. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
So after this, we get a quick promo from House of Black, really quick, which I was like, no, give me 10 minutes of art. Like
more.
I was just like, give me more of House of Black. But again, with winning on Rampage and then getting this promo, we are so close to getting them to something, getting them to the precipice. And I'm just like, I love you, House of Black. You can never do no wrong in my eyes. Which then leads into our next match. I mean, apparently AEW forgot that ROH was a thing, because this is a #1 contendership to see who would face Mark Briscoe at Death Before Dishonor in 2 weeks for the ROH World Championship. Two men that have history and previous ROH champions, Roderick Strong and my favorite person on the planet, Dalton Castle, go at it. I wanted to hate this match because I already knew who was going to win, because I was like, they never let Dalton win, and that makes me mad. But some good things I liked about this match. Number one, keep the Outrunners with Dalton Castle, because that is a trio that I want more of. The Outrunners are ridiculous, and I love them. Secondly, this actually was a really solid back and forth match. Yeah. And I was like, Roderick Strong had to work hard to get that knee strike perfect, because Dalton's Dalton's a tall man. That is a tall boy right there. And even in a weird way, even though I hate seeing Dalton lose, I'm actually kind of glad that Roddy won this clean. Like, no real interference from the Kingdom. No shenanigans really went down, except, we didn't get a belt being hit on Dalton's face. No ref distractions. Like, Roddy beat Dalton clean, and then Roderick is going to Death Before Dishonor to fight Mark Briscoe for the championship.
Yep.
So, like, in hindsight, I can't be mad, because I think that match is actually going to slap at Death Before Dishonor. At least I hope it does. But Alice, tell me why Dalton Castle is the best person on the planet. I'm just kidding. So how did you feel about he is? So how do we feel about our theater kid getting beat by the cool dad of AEW?
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I want Dalton to win. Roderick Strong needs to go somewhere else. I don't know why they keep pushing him. But, so they keep beating up my theater kid, and I'm mad about it. I want him to win. The match was good. I liked the back and forth. I really think Dalton can win. I'm mad that they keep booking him to lose. But I do agree. I want the trio. I want that. I want the three of them together. I think that would be really fun.
El Buntador, same question. Dalton Castle, the best person on the planet. How do we feel about the match, and how do we feel about Roddy facing Mark at Death Before Dishonor?
I love Dalton Castle. Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop. I too was happy that Roddy got a clean win, especially when Bennett and Taven came out with him. It was interesting because it felt like the Outriders and Taven and Bennett were giving a separate show outside, like jawing off at each other. But it was nice that Dalton and Roddy didn't pay attention to it. They paid attention to themselves, and the ref didn't pay attention to it. It just seemed like it was an extra thing going on for the audience to pay attention to, which I thought was cool. We talked about this prior to going live. if Roddy gets the belt from Mark Briscoe, I'll be all right with it as long as the ROH championship starts being defended in ROH. I said those words. I'm going to make a sandwich so I can, with those words on it, so I can eat my words. Andrew, you were right. Jesse, you were right. I'm sorry I ever doubted you all about that. But yeah, and I do have that hope because Bennett and Taven, they do defend the tag team belt on ROH. So, if Roddy picks it up, hopefully he will defend on ROH. Other than that, good match, clean win. That's it.
Cool. Well, since we're talking about ROH and Death Before Dishonor, we get a pre-tape promo from Mark Briscoe, who I'm sorry, my hyperfixation came in here because I was like, I'm watching all the bats and the birds fly in the background of this promo.
Yeah, we were too.
I was just like, ooh,
we were too. One bird, two birds.
There's a bat somewhere in there. But basically, this is a Mark Briscoe promo. Like, we know what this contains. Like, just nonsense, and we love him for it. They had to bleep out a curse word because it was not appropriate for AEW television. But, he's busting his butt, and he's going to be ready for Death Before Dishonor and what comes in AEW. I was like, cool. Then we get another, because I forgot to talk about this last week, but we get the same mystery video package. We're debuting a new luchador maybe next week in AEW. Lots of fans are speculating about who it is. I'm not going to guess it until I see them on my screen next week. People are saying it's Ricochet, but I was just like, I don't know, maybe. I hope not.
I believe
I also heard that it's a AAA All-Star too.
I'll pull up. I have to pull up the Fightful Select article, but it's not Ricochet. It is the AAA All-Star, and the reason why Fightful did an article about it is because Tony Khan actually wrote this character, and Tony Khan was commenting on how he was excited for this character to premiere. So. I'm
excited. I mean, I'm not going to say no to Lucha Libre, but we look at the luchadors in AEW, it's like, please treat this one right. Right. So we move on from this. We go to commercial. We come back. We have Chris Statlander and Stewie Hathaway cutting a promo backstage where it seems that Willow and Chris are going to forever be fighting, which I'm excited. I have breaking news, but I don't know if I want to spoil anything.
I got the same breaking news.
Okay, about Willow in regards to everything?
Yeah. Let's do it at the same time on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Willow is the CMLL Women's Championship.
Yeah, so breaking news. Tonight is Fantastica Mania at USA in San Jose, California. We talked about this on CMLL. It was originally going to be Stephanie Vaquer versus Lluvia for the championship. But because Stephanie is no longer with CMLL and is on her way to NXT, it became a triple threat with Lluvia versus Willow Nightingale versus Viva Van. And Willow is the newest CMLL women's champion. So it's like, hell yeah, it's Willow fighting in Mexico. It's going to be great.
That's good. Yeah. I'm excited. So
there's that news. But yo, if we get Chris versus Willow for this title, I'm also here for Chris going to Mexico. Not going to lie. Fair. Chris fighting the Amazonas and CMLL will be great. But as far as this promo goes, this is what we've been getting from them. They're going to make Willow's life miserable, that Willow is a loser, all that stuff. It's really hard for me to hate on. I still love Chris, but it will be a cold day in hell when they make me hate Willow Nightingale, because I was like, you can't hate. There is no bone in my body that makes me want to hate Willow, and she's one of the people I was like, I want her to get, I love her intensity, but it's going to be really hard for me to believe if they decide to turn her heel, because I'm like, don't turn her heel. That's one of the exceptions. I'm like, don't turn Willow heel. She is too good of a baby face to turn. Though I love a baby face that destroys people, which is what she is right now. But Chris versus Willow can fight forever. I'd be here for it. So then we get into a women's squash match. Ava Lawless gets squashed by one of my favorite people's Nyla Rose. I love her so much. And, we're just going to talk about her promo later in the evening here too, because the match, what it was, Ava's the hometown girl, but Nyla Rose watches her really quickly. Can we just give Nyla like another title? Like, I want to see her as champion because she's, now that she no longer has a mouthpiece talking for her and she's literally just herself, like the way that she talks on Twitter is exactly how she is in person, which is funny. I loved it too. She's like, on my Twitter, I'm not going to call it X. And so we come to find out that, Mercedes Moné has issued an open challenge for the TBS championship. And Nyla Rose is going to be answering it. So upcoming on Wednesday, Dynamite 250 for the TBS championship. It's Moné versus Nyla, which I'm excited for. I love the part. She's like, I never driven a Mercedes, but after Wednesday.
But crash one.
Yes. Nyla Rose is also one of those people. I was just like, she's like, I can't never be mad at her. Like, honestly.
Oh, no.
She's so good at what she does. So, I mean, that was that. There's nothing really else to talk about those two things. The match, it was short and the promo was awesome. We get a recap. Yeah, we get a recap of the men's finals, which was also a really good match on Dynamite. Hangers lost really badly. Danielson is facing Swerve at All In, which I was like, I did not see this on my bingo card, but I'm kind of here for it. It's going to be fun.
It was on my bingo card.
Danielson's going to have one hell of a year. I'm going to be sad when he retires.
Yeah.
Because I think he's retiring at Wrestle Dream, at least from what we are. No, it seems that he's going to retire in Tacoma in October when Wrestle Dream comes through Washington this year. All right, let's get through this because we get the Wish version of what we got on Rampage. Because this is Top Flight.
Because we talked about it already.
We already talked about this.
Yeah, let's just talk about the results. Top Flight versus Shane Taylor Promotions, which was Lee Moriarty and Anthony Go. Top Flight wins. Shane Taylor Promotions attacks afterwards. The feud is never going to end. And that was that.
Yeah, and then they played Shane Taylor Promotions music as they walked out, even though Top Flight won.
I know. Whatever. So
and now another strange spot. Go ahead, Mikey.
Okay,
I did have to put that pin in there.
Yeah, we have to put this tidbit in because first of all, we get Cowboy Carter. Oops, no, that's Sky Blue. Cosplaying for the next Beyonce concert because go listen to Cowboy Carter. It's actually a pretty good album. But our next match, which was not on the cards for me, we had Sky Blue taking on Harley Cameron of the Outcasts. Everybody was wearing cowboy hats. I was just like, I feel like I missed the memo. But before we could even talk about the match, hang on, I'm going to take my glasses off because this is going to be serious talk. Nigel McGuinness, we got to have a talk, bro. Like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't think you're that way, honestly. But Nigel, we gotta tone it back a little bit of how we're talking about some of these wrestlers, especially the women. Like, it's fun. It was kind of funny when you did it with Tony, and then it slowly got creepy. And now I'm like, Sky is not even yet the age of 25 yet. We need to calm down. And I don't think he means,
especially after what happened in Edmonton.
Oh my gosh. So like, honestly though, shout out to Aubrey because she's ready to fight some fans for Sky. It was kind of fun to hear about. Oh, I was like, don't let Kyle Fletcher catch that you're like hating on, the girlfriend, because Kyle will beat you up. Though he'll probably make you laugh first. But Nigel, I need you to tone it down from here on out because it was getting weird. The match itself, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually like seeing Harley improve every time I see her in the ring.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And, I've given her crap for so many years because, like, she was the joke because she would always pull out the spoon or the knife, which is still funny to me. And you know what? Good for her that she wants to be a wrestler. I love her to death. I'm going to be honest, though. I was like, Saraya, you're supposed to run interference. What happened? Like, what happened? Also, I feel like lighting failed because when we caught Saraya at the end of the match, like, why is it so dark on the ramp? What happened? Like, why was it so dark? Did the power go out? Like, what happened? Harley did her best, but ultimately Sky Blue ends up winning this match. She is still intense as ever. Yeah. I missed Sky on my television screen. Submission. Yeah. So Alice, I'm gonna come to you first. Harley versus Sky. Like, I was not expecting this match, so how do we feel about it?
I was not expecting this match either. I love Sky Blue though, so this was really fun to watch. And the submission move was really cool. Definitely liked that. Gosh, I cannot stand Haley or Soraya. They did Ruby Soho so dirty, and I'm still mad about it, and I will never forgive them. But yeah, I haven't seen Haley wrestle much. But I thought this was a good match. I thought it was entertaining, and I was happy to see Blue Sky for the win.
Love it. El Buntador, I mean, you kind of expressed some of your feelings.
Yeah.
Good on Sky. I love this ring gear from her, by the way. It looks really nice. I don't want to say like she leveled up to being grown-up Sky Blue, but now it's just like she's no longer the rookie in AEW. So it's like, yes, now she upgraded everything. She got that AEW money. This was fantastic. And which even made it more because after we got the recap of the god-awful Calgary street fight from Dynamite, I don't care what nobody says, that match was garbage to me. I hated it. We do get a backstage promo from, Sky Blue. And she, and I quote her, these are not my words, these are hers. She needs to put these bitches on notice. I was like, whoa, okay, Sky, calm down. I was like, but she's like, I got to remind these girls who they're messing with and why this is my locker room. And she calls out Hikaru Shida, of all people, for a match next week. I'm like, yo, okay, we're going to be eating next week. And I'm mad that I don't get to watch this match and review it, but I am going to catch it for sure, though, later. We're going to get Hikaru Shida versus, Sky next
Blue.
week. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I'm looking at my notes and I'm upset at myself that I skipped over this, but that's because we talked about it earlier for Rampage. So earlier in the evening, Deanna is, being interviewed backstage. Thunder Rosa interrupts. They're speaking in Italian and Spanish. But ultimately, next week on Collision, we're going to get a lumberjack match between Thunder and Deanna. And I'm kind of here for it.
Yes. Excited for the match. However, I would like to know who was it that cut off that spot?
They're fired immediately.
Right when it was pinnacling, because before we went live, when you told us that they were having this lumberjack match, I was like,
we didn't see that.
When did this happen? Right, we didn't see that because what happened was we were watching on TNT on Hulu, and Deanna and Thunder arguing, rising action, and commercial.
It was weird. I was just like, this was whack. I was like, how dare they cut it off? It's getting good. But we finally made it to our main event. And I love that this is the official name now because we have Bobby Cruz announcing that in our main event in this tag team match, representing the conglomeration. So they're officially a faction now. We have Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly taking on the Kingdom, even though they're the Undisputed Kingdom. Like, nope, they are still the Kingdom to me because that is what we know them as in ROH, and that's what I'm going to keep calling them then. They are undisputed when they are wrestling with Roddy in a trios match. So, okay. Again, this is where storylines kind of go off the rails a little bit because the match itself, I had a fun time. It was Orange and Kyle are always fantastic. I never have an issue with the Kingdom in ring, and even their weird character choices in ROH is really good. Like, I love the Kingdom; they are fantastics, and there's a reason why they are ROH tag champs. This match was a lot of fun. It is everything that happened after the match that I had a question and also was kind of pleasantly surprised. So. But let's talk about it first. So in the middle of this match, leading into the finishing sequence, Roddy tries to interfere, but then he gets bit by the Stone Pitbull because Tomohiro Ishii comes out and destroys Roderick and throws him to the back. So,
and the funny thing was, prior, Roddy was on commentary.
Yep.
And before he gets up to go and try to interfere, he says, "Where is Ishii's peanut head? I want to slap it." And all of a sudden, kind of like rubbing the genie's lamp, it comes Ishii out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't want to make Ishii mad because he will destroy me in a heartbeat. Right. So that's going on. But then the Kingdom, end up winning. And unfortunately, this was a loss for the conglomeration. But then all hell breaks loose because Trent Beretta, of all people, comes and attacks Orange Cassidy. And then he begins to beat up Kyle O'Reilly in the ring. And it was really interesting because the Kingdom's like, yeah, no, bro, you can't be attacking our friend like this. Like, we may be beefing, but this is still our friend. You need to get out. And then Orange Cassidy just snaps because then he hits Trent Beretta from behind with the monkey wrench. Did you see his eyes? He was selling this perfectly. And Kyle's like, Kyle sees this. He's like, okay, bro. I was like, we need you to put the monkey wrench down. And Orange Cat, it's like one of those moments where, in a horror movie where someone had a burst of adrenaline taking down the killer. They're like, all right, put the gun down, put the knife down, like, give it to me. It's going to be okay. Breathe. And then Ishii comes into the ring to check on Orange Cat. Orange just went to the dark side, and I'm kind of here for it.
And I'm also here for sensitive Ishii because I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it wasn't until after Ishii walked up and did like, sun's getting real low, buddy. To Orange Cassidy.
He did.
That's when he put the monkey wrench down.
Put the monkey wrench down.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for edgier Orange Cassidy, especially when dealing with Trent Beretta. Just please don't become another lunatic character, because I feel like I've lost track of how many crazy eye characters there are in AEW.
We have a lot.
There's definitely a lot.
There's a lot.
I'm here for Orange Cassidy going off the deep end, honestly. But like in a methodical way, because there's crazy, and then there's methodical crazy. Be the methodical crazy, Orange Cassidy. Yep. But yeah, it seems that he's not over everything that happened with Trent. So I would love for there to be a revenge tour of some sort, because technically Trent's the one that took out Chucky T as well when we saw that parking lot brawl back in April. So Orange really hasn't had a chance to decompress and truly accept all the things that happened. So I'm kind of here for all of that. But that is going to bring us to the end of this week's double review of Rampage and Collision. So let's go through our empanada ratings. I'm going to give this double package, I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10 for me. I think Rampage was very mid and Collision was kind of better. Collision did a better job of progressing storylines, which I'm kind of ashamed of Rampage this week, because normally they're pretty good at, doing storylines outside of furthering, what's going on with Thunder and Deanna on Rampage. All the matches, while fun on Rampage, didn't necessarily build anything. And honestly, the double match of Top Flight and Shane Taylor Promotions on both Rampage and Collision going back to back, took some points out of it. But I thought this was a fun weekend of AEW, so I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. Alice, I'm going to go to you, and then Buntador, you're going to close this out with your rating. So, Alice, what do you give Rampage and Collision this week?
Collectively, I'm going to give it a 6. It's because Rampage was so meh for me. Collision was better, so I'm going to give it a solid 6. It was good. Rampage only moved one story forward. Collision was more exciting and eventful with things that made more sense. I'm not going to say it completely made sense, because it obviously didn't, but made more sense. So I'm going to give it a solid 6.
And finally, El Buntador, what did you give this package of Rampage and Collision this week?
I too am going to give this a 6. Same things. Rampage just felt off, and I enjoyed Collision, but there are some matches that I wasn't. So 6 out of 10 for me.
That is fair. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this Double Trouble review. Next week, it will just be El Buntador and Alice, as I got to pull TNA duty watching Slammiversary. El Buntador, do you have an announcement of some sort?
Well, I kind of, sort of. So, mira, luchador,
Oh, damn.
esto es
Here we
para
go.
ti, ¿ok? Algunos meses para atrás, tú chocaste a mi amigo mínimo con un silla cuando él no estuvo mirando. Ok, yo pensé, y mira, eso es adentro de tú y él, pero ahora tú estás diciendo a las personas que tú eres el mejor luchador en Bi-Conics. Mira, tú eres muy macho cuando nadie está mirando. ¿Cuán macho está cuando estamos cara a cara?
Oh, damn. Oh, man. Look, I'm caught in the middle. I'm Switzerland. I'm not taking a side because I got to work with both luchadors. But, ooh, Senior Luchador, you better have you like. Even though we're not doing Monday Night Raw, you have a whole week to think of a comeback, and like we'll figure it out. But, ooh, it's getting spicy up here in BC WrestlePod land. But that is going to be it for us here this week. Tune in next week with El Buntador and Alice for another rendition of the Double Trouble review. And then also stay tuned because the TNA boys are coming at you live for Slammiversary next week. And then all roads lead to Death Before Dishonor in 2 weeks. It's going to be crazy. But from all of us here at BC WrestlePod, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, but more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you on the flip side next week. But until then, sayonara, adios, catch
Billy
you later.
Stark's outro.
Billy Stark's outro, and watch out for Beware the Shoe.